how to protect your energy. It's important if you feel like you are particularly sensitive to the things around you, you got to know how to protect your energy. The different types of people around you, the shows, it could be different energies, moods, behaviors. These all have an impact on us. And if you're a pretty sensitive individual like myself, you may be overwhelmed at a younger age when you go into a social situation until you learn how to calm your nervous system down. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about the nervous system today. I may go into that a bit at the end. We'll see if we have time. But I want to go ahead and just talk about the concepts for those who feel like they understand the idea of energy, but they haven't quite figured it out and they have a really tough time finding peace of mind and enjoying their life experience in general. So, why is this important? Um, as you go through your life, you have the opportunity to really just live out your days any different type of way you feel like. I mean, you could be just doing things, going with the flow. You could be following some predetermined path that a parent or a teacher or society has given to you. But no matter what's happening, your peace of mind is, in my opinion, one of the most important things when it comes to living the good life. If you cannot enjoy the experience of life, if it is a battle zone or a heavily depressive, just awful place to live your life inside your mind, I really recommend you kind of pay attention to this because your peace of mind is important. And when you begin to identify how different sources of energy around you, whether it's what you're watching, what you're listening to music wise, who you're spending your time with, um, when you can identify that those things are affecting you, you may begin to realize that you're not messed up. There's nothing wrong with the way you think. You might just be in a room full of assholes. That happens. Been in construction, know how that goes. And there was a time where I felt so overwhelmed and affected by the things around me that I would question who I was and how I felt, when in reality, I was just trying to be somebody I'm not, or I was trying to show up with my energy level. I typically have received awesome compliments of being like a very good natured person. I'm thinking about others. I take people into consideration. You may not always be around those people. And when you're not and you feel like an outcast, this is very important to figure out what could be affecting my energy level. How can I protect it? So, really, this is all about making choices to feel your best rather than beating yourself up when you don't. Recognizing that you have power over this, you're not a victim. So, there are different sources of energy to keep in mind. Um, One, I've already touched on this. What do you watch? Could be, Chris, we talk about consumption so much. What you watch is pivotal to this. I am the first one to get incredibly squeamish, to like look away from the screen when there's like gore or just ridiculousness on the screen. Like, that stuff stays with you. You literally can be traumatized from what you see. It's one of the reasons why we don't let kids go to certain ratings of movies. So if it exists at such an egregious level with a certain amount of gore, if you feel like you're a pretty sensitive individual, you may want to be paying attention to how frequently you watch certain types of things. What type of music do you listen to? Are you listening to music that's combative, super intense, very fast paced, and like negatively charged? Because these types of things may keep you in that combative, negatively charged, fast paced sense. So when you go to wind down, you may find it tough if you're frequently listening to these types of things. You may question yourself. Well, guess what? Maybe it's the stuff you listen to. And finally, the most important one is the people you're around. This could be family. This could be acquaintances, coworkers, people you just happen to bump into from time to time at your local bar or art gallery, wherever the heck you spend your time. You have control over these more than you know. One example I'm going to get to at the end of this on how to identify the people that are around you and separate your energy from theirs and protect yourself a bit is called zooming out. So stay tuned for that. When do you risk to have your energy impacted? Well, that is 100% when you are under the influence of some type of substance. We're talking alcohol, marijuana, like just literally whatever it is. If you are under the influence of something, your guard is down. We've all heard inhibitions get lowered, etc. That's why if you go out and you're at a club, we like to get amped up with a lot of other people. It's easier to get amped up when everybody else is around you and everyone's had some drinks, etc. Like it creates an atmosphere. Well, if you are allowing yourself to get in tune and amped up with everybody else, you may be exposing yourself to different types of energies, and you may bump into people that, who knows, maybe they don't have the best intent for you, but you're not at your best level. You may not be making the best decisions to protect the different types of energies that you have, which is what we're going to go into next, the different types of energy. So, how could somebody affect you on an energetic level? Well, emotionally, financially, spiritually, and in some of the worst cases, physically. So, what do I mean by this? If you're continuously surrounded by a bunch of very angry people, you may eventually notice you begin to become more angry. The things that someone else has been bothered by, you may eventually be bothered by these things. Um, if someone is repeatedly putting you down or just puts people down in general and you spend time with them, do you really think you're impervious to this? Some of you may be, some of you may not be, but at least being aware of it and being able to identify, like if you feel really down around a certain person, it is your right to decide just how often you want to spend your time with this person. Now, another one that we may not really think about in terms of energy is the financial piece, but don't get me wrong. Money is 100% an energy. It gets exchanged for all different types of energy all over the place. Chris spends a lot of time exchanging time, knowledge, wisdom for financial energy. There's a big ROI in going into that. Kabi is doing the same thing with his time and energy. Your physical gain, your like spiritual gain in return for financial energy. For me, it's a little bit of kind of all the above. But if you spend a lot of your time, especially out being inebriated, like trust me, been there, done that, you can be taken advantage or impacted financially by these things. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this, but I think emotionally and spiritually, when I say the word energy, are probably the two that resonate with me the most. So for the empaths out there, if you're looking for peace of mind, if you're looking for really any type of feeling, be aware that the people who you spend your time with, Jim Rohn quote, average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, they are going to rub off on you. So the same thing goes for what you watch and what you listen to. And you can protect these things by basically taking space, taking time out of your day to recharge in an isolated container that you feel comfortable with. Or if you're really lucky, spend more time with people that really resonate you. These are like 2 very basic fundamentals that I don't think can be stressed enough, especially for the young men and women out there that are so desperate to go out there and climb a social ladder, that want to prove different things to individuals. If you're out there trying to prove something to your family or to your boss or to your community about how great you are or how successful you are, you're putting yourself in a position to prioritize an energy drain on your soul in order for you to appear a certain type of way. So I really want to bring this up because how you can protect yourself is by beginning to prioritize your peace of mind. How do you want to feel? What situations, when you step back, allow you to feel a certain type of way? What people are there? What shows are on TV? Is TV even necessary? But we'll leave that for another one. What type of music do you listen to? What do you read? This everything. What is in your atmosphere? Because if you spend time reflecting on this through meditation and journaling and just time alone, you can begin to identify, man, maybe my head isn't the problem. Maybe it's what I'm surrounding myself with. And you can begin to protect your energy by simply analyzing and taking time away, trial and error. It's that easy. So the very final piece that I want to leave you guys here with today is a visualization exercise that I call zooming out. So whoever's listening to this, I invite you to close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to imagine the last time that you were around some type of negative or chaotic energy. It was a person, like there was this person was tripping. They were either tripping at you or about somebody else. And you just really didn't like the way that this was disturbing your peace. Now, in that moment, you may have felt yourself wanting to react, especially if it was at a personal attack to you. So what I'd like you to do is imagine them as a separate individual to the level of clarity that you can see what they're wearing, you can see what they look like. Now go ahead and zoom out of yourself. Imagine you're looking at the two of you from the corner of a wall, like a fly on the wall or a camera. You can see both of you. You recognize that this individual is a totally separate body than you. You're not the same. Now, the level of chaotic energy that they have in this moment, go ahead and imagine it like some type of whirling cloud, this storm around them. This is coming from inside of them. This does not have to go inside of you. This is something that you give permission as to whether or not you want to resonate or feel that type of way. Whether you like it or not, you give permission as to whether or not you are going to feel that type of way. So acknowledge the fact that they are the source of this energy. It is swirling around them. It is up to you whether or not that energy and that cloud go towards you. If you have a tough time as an empath separating yourself from what's happening around you and from the certain type of feelings, allow yourself to make it a visual. We're such visual creatures, we cannot always comprehend things like energy or a vibe of a room. But if you can begin to identify, hey, that seems chaotic or that seems negative, I'm going to look at it with this type of imagination. I choose to not emulate that in this moment. I encourage you guys to play with that next time it comes up. Love to get your feedback on it. I know it's worked well for myself and some others as well. How to protect your energy.
When I think of the average person that gets burnt out or has anxiety or all these things, they almost think that like it's normal.
We see things that we think give us energy when we're down, when we're low, when we're heavy, when we're what. Why do you think we turn to those things?
If you are allowing yourself to get in tune and amped up with everybody else, you may be exposing yourself to different types of energies, and you may bump into people that, who knows, maybe they don't have the best intent for you.
We know about a quick hot cold shower that can actually change the balance of how we're feeling immediately, or particular breathing patterns that could change how we're feeling immediately, right?
If you cannot enjoy the experience of life, if it is a battle zone or a heavily depressive, just awful place to live your life inside your mind, I really recommend you kind of pay attention to this.
I'm burnt out. I have this anxiety, this depression, like all these things that are happening. And then I go consume some movies, right? Or consume some entertainment or eat some bad food or drink, or right? Like, and I go do these things. And then it's this cycle of things that are stealing our energy.
Everything is energy. What is your take on that statement?
100% agree with that. Wholeheartedly. Their energy comes in all types of forms. If an atom is moving, then there's energy associated with it.